Yo, what's up? It's DNA for sure. Damn, my hair's sexy. And this video is about um embracing your inner child. I'm gonna be 110% honest with you. I've given this much thought, but a lot of my videos, I don't like to do a lot of research. Some of them I do. It's a Super Bowl today, so bear with me. But I've been thinking about this for a long time. And what I've seen is the people who are, I'm not saying that you need to act childish on any level, but knowing that your childhood is the base of your life, knowing that, and being able to revisit certain mentalities and activities, and it's not the same as mentalities, but certain states of mind and thought processes is what saves a lot of people. Now, in my family, we have my great great grandmother. She passed. She would have been like 150 or some shit by now. My great grandma, Suzanne Poe, she would have been about 110 or 15. She died when she was 90, when I was 13, I believe, 10 years ago. So she would have been 100. Damn. 100, ish. And there's four elders, my grandmother and her three sisters. Two of her sisters died. One is very sick. And my grandmother is the youngest and the most healthy. Was is the most healthy when all four of her sisters were alive. My grandmother is very, very childish, and she has a great attachment to her inner child. And a lot of older people that are healthy and still going, they have that same mentality. Why do you need this? Number one, the first thing that I said, the first thing that I'm going to say is when I made those two videos about dealing with the stresses of adulthood and being able to make it through, my key point was doing what you love, and celebrating, knowing how to celebrate. If anybody in the whole world knows how to celebrate, it's a child. If anybody in the whole world knows how to relax and not feel stressed, it's a child. What do children do when they get out of school? They come home, take off their backpack, take off their shoes, turn on the video game, get their cookies and juice, watch motherfucking whatever, Spider-Man 3, and fucking kick it. The second reason is because when I was chilling with one of the homies, his daughter was about 2. And I've seen this in a lot of little children. And I told you I have a lot of kids in my family. Or when I was born and I was about 6 or 10, 6 through 10, there was a lot of kids being born. These kids, they have a spiritual uh, advantage, if you will. They can see auras, they can sense things. If you ever notice, if you hand a child to someone and they just start crying, it's something wrong with that. There's something that's not right there. Kids can see auras, kids can see ghosts. Fucking, oh, my homeboy's kid, she was in her playpen or whatever. She was holding on to the edge and looking up and laughing and just like playing with something that wasn't there. And I was just looking like, dude, do you see what your daughter's doing? And he was like, oh yeah, she does that all the time. And the fucking dog came over and was barking at something that wasn't there. Children are really spiritual and open and in tune to certain energies. So when you can return to that sense of purity, that spiritual reversal or openness, not reversal, that spiritual openness as if you were a child, that's going to be something that prolongs your life. Third is when you are under stress. I've hit all these points in all my videos, my jail one. When you're under stress and you're feeling like something traumatic is going on or it's potentially going to happen, your mind does something called a regression. You, and I saw this first on Law and Order, but I witnessed it firsthand when I was at a funeral and in jail. The first, it was actually me who did it. I was so stressed. Everybody was calling people, asking if they could, thanking them, uh, thanking them for their donations for my grandfather's funeral and his casket and service and all of that. And it was just too much for me. Like, I couldn't smoke because it was fucking the middle of March in Chicago. It was cold as fuck. It was like right after or right before a blizzard, whatever the case was. And I was just like, oh, fuck it. And I looked at the table, and my little cousins left their coloring books, and I was like, fuck it. And I colored, and I felt so much motherfucking better. And I looked up fucking 5-10 minutes later, a table full of fucking grown-ass adults. I'm talking 35 and up. Coloring their asses off. And everybody dealt with their stress like that. In jail, people were, shadow boxing with each other, playing Power Rangers, playing Spider-Man versus fucking Wolverine. And that was the way that they protected themselves. When you can fucking separate yourself and you don't have to be fucking Mr. Big Pants all day, and you can allow yourself to do something childish. I'm not saying, pout and fucking throw temper tantrums in Kroger when your girl won't let you get fucking Fruit Loops. I'm not saying that. But maybe you should watch cartoons. There's a cartoon out there for every adult. Avatar: The Last Airbender is the shit. That's probably one of my favorite shows. Law and Order, Bad Girls Club, Avatar: The Last Airbender, or Legend of Korra. I could watch all of those for at least 12 hours any day. Cartoon, I can watch Spider-Man any day. I could play fucking Nintendo, Super Nintendo from fucking 93, Sonic the Hedgehog any day. Do things that you did in your childhood that you enjoy. Fucking buy a Batman shirt. Wear that shit. Buy some fucking... I've been trying to get fucking shoes with lights on them for the longest in my size. But they don't have those. So when I get this Millie, I guess I'm going to have to put lights on all my shoes. Because I never had those as a child. Get shoes with the little things where you don't have to tie your shoes. Not the Velcro. I forgot what they're called. Where you just slip it in and pull it. Get some of those. Get some video games. Eat fucking Fruit Loops. You don't have to eat Honey Nut Cheerios. Eat Fruit Loops. Fucking introduce something from your childhood. And really what you are is you're just a big kid. You're just a child that's doing something different, that has a different body. It's so many things that I could tell you about myself that have not really changed from me being a child to being an adult. I still see the 3-year-old Aaron inside of me when I do certain things. Another thing I would like to speak on is one part of that is my level of optimism. And that just came from me being so naive. Just thinking, you know what? I'm a little kid. God's not going to let me die. And I didn't really think about how many children died and how many kids, never even made their first, had their first breath. I was fucking 3 through 6 and I didn't think about kids my age dying. And that just wasn't a part of my reality. So my whole mindset was, you know what? I'm a kid. Nothing really ever bad happens to children. Even though I was in Roseland in the south side of Chicago, I didn't fucking see anything bad happening to children. I didn't fucking feel like I was a part of the real world. Because I wasn't. Because I thought that nothing bad was ever going to happen to me. And that is what I carry every day. The worst thing that could happen, it could happen. If it happens, it's gonna happen, but it's not gonna happen because it's just not. And that's a part of me attaching myself to certain elements of my childhood and the child in me. And like I said, I didn't put much thought or study or come up with the pros and cons and why this could be good or detrimental or watch any of my mentors speak on this because I'm pretty sure nobody has a video on this subject. But it is an aspect. There's a chapter of it in the book of the world of psychology, but I just didn't read that chapter. I skipped that part and just decided to write my own. So that's my video on embracing the child in you and talking to it. One thing, you can write a letter to your childhood self. Write a letter to every 2 years of your childhood. Write a letter to your 3 year old self. Write a letter to your 5, 7, 9, 11, all the way up, maybe even to your teens, maybe up to your mid or early 20s. And tell yourself what is going on right now. What happened to you at that time is awesome, it's going to be okay. And that'll help you tap into some of those energies that you felt as a child. I don't want to ramble. I could ramble for another however many minutes, but that's not going down. So remember that you're just a child in a man's body or a woman's body.